can we just even pause here and talk about how the differences in the types of hard,
Yeah,
now that
no,
you're on
for
the other
sure. That's
side?
such a great way to put it, for sure, where it's like the actual like things I had to do at the job were easy. The expectations were it was weird circumstances with management where expectations of my job were very, very low. So like logically it was easy, but you're right, that piece of it also made it hard because there was no like looking back, I'm like, if I would have lived the rest of my life like that of just like quite literally going through the motions and like not really being pushed, not really there was no way to like grow as like there was no way for me to like go into like different roles. Like I was the highest that I could be. There was no opportunity to earn more, to like there was no reason for me to continue to grow as a person because there was no growth opportunity in that position, and like that piece of it made my entire life hard because it's like how you do one thing is how you do everything. Where I was so stagnant at my job, whereas like my husband even says like he was like it was affecting everything that you did, where it was just like it was just so like bleh for everything in life because that's how my day to day was.
You know something, as you were talking, I just thought someone listening to this would think, well, yeah, that's your story. In my job, I actually feel challenged. There are paths for promotion. I've recently been promoted, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago. I get a bonus. But so let me ask you this, assuming you had all of those things in your job compared to what you have now and what you're doing now, can you compare like maybe how
Yeah,
you
no,
have
for sure.
felt,
Because I
even
think
though
it's
you didn't have that? Like just
yeah, I think that's valid too, where it's like I do think that part of my circumstances is different than a lot of people, where it's like not some other people do have that more that growth opportunity. But I work in the same town. Well, my kids go to daycare in the same town that I used to work. So I drive by my old office every single day. And it's like every single time it makes me think of just like the piece you're bringing forward of like I didn't hate what I did. I really liked the people I worked with. Like it was fine. It was a good job. But it was like I get so like the days that like my childcare falls through or like my kids are sick or something where it's like I feel very grateful that I have that flexibility, and like that's a whole different thing we could talk about of just like that difference in the things that I do. 'Cause that was a big reason why I left my corporate job, is to have the flexibility for my kids. But it's more so like I get sad when I don't get to go to work, where it's like if I do have to stay home with my kids or get to stay home with my kids, there I get really sad because like I look forward to so much to be able to go to work and to build something for myself, and just like I love what I do so much, and I see the bigger vision for like what I'm building, where it's like every day I don't get to do that. It like makes me sad because it's like I want to go, 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 go and keep building it. Where it's like that is a big difference for sure. Where it's like it was the kind of the checking off the boxes, doing what somebody else needs you to do, just doing what you have to do versus like building something and building something that's even bigger than you, which I feel like you can relate to a lot.
yep, totally. Because I call it golden handcuffs, right? It sounds great on paper, and your head gets big about this 5% bonus, and then when you now fast forward to maybe your life now and how much you have made in your business so far, and what the potential is, what you're making now, it's like, really? You're getting happy about your tiny weeny, 40% taxed 5% bonus. Like that is what is making you happy? And that leads me to the next something that you mentioned earlier, which is, you had this engineering job. It's what people put some kind of importance on, right? And then there's like this little Instagram thing. And that right there, that mentality right there is killing a lot of people, is keeping them stuck because their ego is getting in the way. They think that, oh, there's this, engineering, I'm a lawyer, I'm this. It's like, no, that's no, but you're not fulfilled though, you know?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I think that it is an ego thing where it's like I if I think about like the reaction that people get like if I have like what I used to do when I would like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm an engineer. Like, oh, cool. But then now when I tell people what I do and they don't, I mean, it's just like in passing in conversation and I tell them, they're like, oh, cool. And like, it's not the same reaction where it's like you do have to check your ego, where it's like, I don't need them to understand and need them to approve of what I do. And even like, I think that was a big, I mean, it still is, but I feel like I'm in a much better place where it's like, I care what my family thinks, but they don't have to fully understand it for them to be able to support me. And like, because my parents will always support me. They're fantastic. And even just like through this transition, they have supported me even just like financially here and there when I've needed it. Very little, but it's been nice. Like they're there for me, but they also like, if they would have had it their way, I would not have left my job, where it's like there was definitely that little bit of disappointment factor. And that was really hard for me. Cause like obviously you want to make your family proud, right?
Yeah, yeah. And no matter how old we get, I don't care what anybody says. Like when it comes to our most loved ones, deep down we want to be accepted by them as we are, or for whatever we're doing. There's just that thing, and I think it's fine. It's not a bad thing, right? And that leads me to my next question about when you're doing this type of thing, when you're stepping outside of the grain, that your entire support system acknowledges that, okay, this is the way to do life, and you want to step outside of that, you need support, right? So how did you navigate that? I know you said that your parents supported you. Who else was there for you? Because nobody's self-made, right? What kinds of support system, whether it's family, friends, community, whatever it is, like share that with us.
Yeah, I'd say mostly my husband. He's been my biggest supporter for sure. 4 years of me, for a while, it was like affiliate marketing with a supplement company. I look back at like eh, very cringe. I definitely had to embarrass myself a little bit, but I look back, I'm like, thank goodness. Like, I'm so grateful for that old version of me that just did it anyways. And I made a fool of myself, but that's the reason why I'm here now. Like, I learned so much. And I mean, it was just kind of me and him. And again, my parents have always supported me. They've always been there. They haven't ever fully understood. I feel like they're just now starting to fully understand that like how good I am at what I do and like there is something bigger here after 5 years. But my husband's really been the only one that's like from the beginning. He has, I don't know if he's fully like it's I don't think either of us really saw exactly what I wanted, because for a while it was like, "Oh, I'm gonna make a lot of money selling supplements," and, like, for then it turned into, like, "Oh, I wanna be a fitness and health coach," and then it has transformed into, like, what it is now, which is now obviously more that, like, functional health, hormones, fertility thing, where he's always, seen how badly that I wanted something different than just a 9 to 5 job, and, stood by me through all of it. So I'd say he's definitely like the biggest one for sure. And like I said, my parents have always been supportive from the standpoint of like they love me and they'll always support me, but they haven't fully understood it until about now.
Let's walk through your journey of the different things that you tried, please. So, what walk us through what was going through your mind when you first decided to try. I think the first thing you tried was the supplements, right? Selling supplements online.
Yeah.
What were you
Yes.
thinking? Like, what inspired you? Was it, oh, I'm good at this, or oh, people are just doing this? Just walk us through that.
The supplement company I worked with was First Form, and I still think very highly of them. I don't think I was gonna ever make it big selling supplements. But I do think really highly of them as a company. I struggled with my weight a lot of my life, and not like ever extremely, but enough where it's like I always felt very poorly about myself and about just like the way that I looked. And I think a lot of it was just like even how I like looking back now, like knowing what I know now about like confidence and just what it actually means to be confident. Whereas like a lot of like it was just like, me not showing up for myself, me not taking care of myself was why I felt poorly about myself. And it was me following somebody that was into fitness, really liking her page, really looking up to her, and she was affiliated with this company, and like I saw like how involved she was with this company. I'm like, "Oh, that's really cool." And they have a really big community aspect. And I really bought into that community piece of it. I'm like, "I really want to be involved with this company." And like thinking it was going to be like years down the road. And just on a whim, I'm like, I'm going to send in an application. Don't think there's any way I'll get accepted, but I'm going to send in an application. And I ended up getting accepted. It was a much easier process than I ever expected it to be. And even they have like, I don't know how familiar you are with First Form, but they have their yearly Summer Smash. And I remember pretty distinctly like seeing them having Summer Smash and be like, one day I'm going to go there, one day. And I ended up going the next summer, which like looking back at that time, I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like, it definitely wasn't as hard to get there as I like thought it was going to be, but like I was going for it. Like I was putting myself out there. I was posting on social media. I was meeting new people, which was like I was a very shy, reserved person where it's like that though I was making a lot of big moves for where I was at, and like I definitely I'm thankful for that version of myself that continued to just go for it. So that was what kind of got me into it. They're a fantastic company where I learned so much, where they had so many like educational resources, whereas like a lot of even what I've learned for like about functional health and like eating healthy and like the nutrition, the workout, like all of those pieces, I learned so much from them. Where it's like I just gradually finally realized I'm like, okay, I don't think I don't think the commission from supplements is like, I don't think logically that's going to help me make a lot of money. And two, like it wasn't feeling aligned anymore of like supplements are a tool in our toolbox, but like having to make a living off of recommending supplements just wasn't feeling aligned anymore. So that's when I started to dig more into like, okay, how can I build something for myself and like actually help make money off of helping people versus the supplements piece of it? Because that's kind of their business model is you help people for free, sell them supplements, and that's how you make money. Genius on their end. But it was just kind of that realization of like, I need to structure this a little bit differently if I actually want to realistically make a full-time income off of this. So that was kind of that transition period. And then that was around the same time I was going through my own fertility journey and seeing the lack of support of like I was kind of hearing bits and pieces of like healing your hormones naturally, improving your PCOS naturally. And I was kind of like dabbling in those kinds of things. I ended up being able to get pregnant and we had a miscarriage, and just kind of through that season and asking more questions of like, what can I do to be able to not be going through this? And so through that time period, my fitness coaching transitioned into more of this like functional health and diving into that piece of it.